How many years are we going to roll Russell Wilson and his wife and kids out on the red carpet and have him saying these dumbass taglines? New York Giants, let's ride. Subway station, let's ride. What are we doing, dude? The guy can barely put up 10 points anymore. Ever since he left Pete Carroll, he's been absolute dog trash. Why are we even trying with this guy? Let Dart go play. Dart looked great in the preseason. The whole city wants to see Dart. I'm pretty sure Dable wants to see Dart, and he's getting turned down by his own front office. All right,
Brain
everybody.
fart.
Welcome back to another episode of the B Team. We got Mikey over there, Colin over here, Muller over here. We are back for week 2. Um, do we want to round up week 1 real quick and then get into what's coming this week? We can talk about Thursday night football at the end.
Yeah, we got because I'm obviously we haven't really talked about week one that much. I would like to recap. I know you have a couple things written down, so I know the biggest one you said. Let's start out with the Chiefs. Um,
Yeah.
so I believe that your question to me was, are we concerned about the Chiefs already? Obviously, it's week one. Um, they lost to the Chargers in Brazil. I'm I'm not going to say I'm hitting the panic button, but there is doubt. I said this earlier that I did say they were going to win the division. I still believe they can, but their problem is personnel. I'll keep saying it until they make the change. It's personnel, and obviously injuries are going to hurt them as well. You have Jalen Royals out. He's probably like your wide receiver 3, 4. He's out. Obviously, Rasheed is suspended. Xavier Worthy now is probably doubtful for the game against Philly. All you're really rocking with is Travis Kelsey, Juju, and Marquise Brown. Marquise Brown had a good game when they played the Chargers. I expect him to have something similar to that, but it's just a personnel issue at the end of the day. I think the offense needs to they got to do as much as possible with the defense that the Eagles has. Hopefully, Jalen Carter doesn't spit on anybody this time. But the defense, I thought the defense did not everything that what's the DC's name? I can't think of his name. Spagnola. Everything that Spagnola was throwing at him, Justin Herbert had an answer. Jim Harbaugh had an answer, and they couldn't stop him. They let him throw on play action, intermediate throws, short hitches. He was just dotting. He was probably throwing 80 to 90, probably 90% on those throws.
Mhm.
I think we need the conversation more so is we got to give the Chargers more credit for the game that they played. And another thing is with the Chiefs, when we talk about windows and Super Bowl windows, it's hard in the NFL to overcome that opportunity and excel at it, execute it. Sports like the NBA, you're probably going to see the Thunder in next year's finals. Baseball has that as well. Hockey, obviously, Florida just had a two-peat. So it's tough in the NFL to, repeat and get back to that big moment. But I'm not saying the Chiefs haven't done that. The Chiefs have done that. They made it to 3 straight Super Bowl appearances. But you look at teams like the Bills and the Ravens, 2 years ago, I'm like, Bills Super Bowl window's cut out. Obviously, I'm a hater, but they still haven't made it to this day. The Ravens still haven't made it with Lamar. The Bills with Josh Allen. Like it's hard to, be in that position, lose in the AFC championship, miss your window because the thing is any team could get better in any year. Houston, their rookie year with CJ Stroud, Washington last year. So when you're talking about Super Bowl windows, I'm not saying that the Chiefs window is closed, but it's getting tougher. You got the Chargers who look damn good week one. You got the Broncos who are now 1-0. Not didn't look the best, but they're going to be better. Now you're trailing behind. It's a long season, but man, listen, they got the Eagles this week. They got the Giants next week. 2 weeks from now, they have the Ravens. I expect to win against the Giants, but man, if they don't get these guys back, it could be tough to overcome.
I mean, yeah, and I just want to touch on what you said about the Bills and the Ravens. I mean, are we really going to include the Bills are the one that we can include. The Ravens, I just don't see the Ravens ever pushing to win a Super Bowl. Like Lamar Jackson and this team they are phenomenal, phenomenal regular season players. Phenomenal, great practice players. When they get into the real moment, into the postseason, they never produce. The Bills were a play away from beating the Chiefs. At least they were there. They could say they were a play away. The Bengals got there, got it done, got to the Super Bowl. The Chiefs consistently get it done, get to the Super Bowl. No one else in the AFC has proven that they can get there and compete with anybody. I think the Chargers have a chance to do it this year. But even the Broncos, they look shaky in week one. And that was really the only other team that we gave a chance this year and coming out of the
Hmm.
AFC. I think the
Correct.
Steelers will be there after watching them against the Jets. And I think the Jets will be up there as well. Amazing what happens when you believe in a quarterback. Sure, we'll get into that in a bit. Um, no, but the Chiefs, I'm not necessarily worried about them at this point in the season. It's tough to say, hit the panic button, especially when you have the Super Bowl champs coming into your house in week two. Two tough opponents right off the bat. You go Chargers, Eagles, big games for the Chiefs coming right out of the gate. They're ultimately these losses, even if they lose next week, this week, not going to hurt them. Not going to hurt them in the long run. We're still going to see a 10-11 win Chiefs team, I think. And, will they get the one seed? Maybe not. Maybe not this year. But at the end of the day, it's still Patrick Mahomes on the other side of the ball. You're going to have Travis Kelce. And no matter how much you do to stop those two, when it comes into crunch time in the playoffs, they get it done every year. Year after year, they're there. And yeah, I think it's a little too early to say we're worried about the Chiefs. ESPN's got
Yeah.
to chill out.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's the thing too. Like I don't I'm not pulling the panic button on them. Overall, like my only worry with them, it's kind of like the Niners too. It's just injuries and it's personnel. Like if Rashee Rice is going to be there week 6, week 7, week 8. That's where he's going to come back. Worthy will come back, but I'm not calling Worthy a game changer. If he comes back, it's not like, oh, he's got Worthy, they're going to win the game. Like Rashee Rice is a different story. But it they I don't know.
Dude, but
Especially
with
with
both of them on the field, I think Worthy is a game changer because there's so much eyes on Rashi Rice and now Hollywood Brown. If he can actually put together a few games here, all of a sudden the eyes are on them too, and you bring Worthy in. Dude, that's a tough offense to stop.
it's especially with Rasheed Rice coming back. Like obviously you saw him last year before he had his injury. He was dominant. Yeah, I mean, obviously he was Patrick Mahomes' go-to guy. He's a great player. Not a good driver, but great player. That's a guy who makes a difference. And Worthy when he is back, I feel like also makes a difference because you can utilize him in so many ways with the offense. Jet sweeps, just long drag crossing routes. But right now they're missing these guys. They're missing the spark on their offense because Travis Kelce can't provide that anymore. He's old. He's getting a little washed up now. His time's coming. So they're gonna have a tough time. I look at it as 2 years ago when I put that bet down. I think they were like 9-6, 9-7. Obviously, still good, but for the Chiefs, they were going through a stretch and they came back, second, almost like towards the end of the season, started rattling off wins, got in the playoffs, won the Super Bowl. So you can never count them out, but they need to. I don't expect them to win week 2. Week 3, they got to get a win, and if they can go from there, schedule should get easier, and they'll be fine.
Yeah, I actually like them in this week two match, but don't think the Eagles look great coming out of week one in that Dallas matchup. Obviously, having Jalen Carter back is huge for them, but I still think that the offense looks shaky. I think that against a Chiefs team and in this type of scenario, you're going into Chiefs Kingdom. I don't know. I think the Eagles are in for a tougher test than people think. But
Yeah,
let's
I
move on
see.
here to Miami. Uh, dude, Tua is fucking terrible. That guy, he looked like his hands were already curled up when he started throwing the ball. It was bad. It was really bad. And you can't get rid of Tua. You can't get rid of him if you're Miami. Like you're stuck with him now. You paid him all that money. I think the buyout for him's 80 million or something insane. That's a guy that you're not moving on from. Like it's over for you. You're stuck with him. The only thing that can change is the coach. And Mike McDaniel, he came in with all that swag. He was the young guy. He had a lot of fun flair on the offense. And it just seems like it hasn't worked out. Like it just hasn't, nothing has clicked to get them over the line. And I don't know. The team hasn't changed much. The offense hasn't changed much. And we're getting the same results. They still can't get past the Bills. They're going to have trouble with the Jets this year. We're going to see how they do this week against a Vrabel-led New England Patriots team. But I think this is probably the biggest Miami Dolphins football game under Mike McDaniel in a long time coming up this week. They
Oh,
need
he's on
to
the
get a result
hot
here.
seat. He is absolutely on the hot. I mean, let's be real. Stephen Ross should have fired Greer years ago. Chris Greer is the reason for all the dysfunction that's going on, and Stephen Ross that's going on in Miami. He never built the O line. He looked like Mike McCagnon. Like his philosophy was, let's get the star players, bring him in. Doesn't matter how good our line is because we have a guy who could just run past everybody. But guess what? You need at least 2 seconds in the pocket to throw to Tyreek Hill, and a guy like Tua, you have to protect him after what we've seen the last 2 or 3 years with his injury history. And you're not going to build the O line. That's their biggest issue. They don't have an O line, and they're not going to win games. They're not a good team. They have good star players. They're very similar to the Jets. Let me hold myself there. They got Reek, they got Waddle, they got Achi. Those are three very good pieces. But the offense will not run. The gears will not be in motion unless the O line can block. The O line did not block at all. They did not protect Tua. Tua was making bad throws. That I don't think they have the hype. I think Mike McDaniel, the most important key, has lost the locker room. Tyreek Hill's getting, more accusations now. It's a disaster. It's an absolute disaster in Miami. I would not be shocked if they finished with a top 5 pick. Truly. That's how you come out week 1. And I know everyone wants to give Danny Dimes shit, but I try to tell everyone New York Giants are a dysfunctional, incompetent organization. You give him an O-line and weapons to throw to, he was terrific. He was terrific. He was
It,
awesome.
great pocket in week 1. And I'm glad that you said that you think they're going to have a top 5 pick because I just went through their schedule, Mike, and I really don't see a way that they have more than 4 wins. I don't
Like,
see.
how do they
Listen,
win?
hand up play on this one. I was wrong about the Steelers. Wrong about the Steelers. Steelers will have more than 5 wins. I was wrong about them. They'll have probably like 6 or 7. But you know, I'm looking at this schedule, Mike, right, and I'm just going to read it to you. Obviously, they're already 0-1. They got blown out by Indianapolis. Danny Dimes. They were always going to win that game. That was a great call by you.
Easy
But
money.
they're home against New England today or this weekend. Then they go Buffalo, Jets, Carolina, Chargers, Cleveland, Atlanta, Baltimore, Buffalo, Washington into the bye week. And after the bye week, it doesn't get any easier. Like if they have any injuries on offense, the team is like throw the season away. We're already close to throwing the season away. And shout out to Carlo for having any type of hope for this team because dude, go Carlo, as a
Yep.
Sixers fan, I can tell you right now the season's done. The season's done, brother. Lock it in, find a new sport, watch Miami Hurricanes, do something different. The season for the Miami Dolphins is over. The team is done. You saw Ramsey play fantastic for the Steelers. Everyone like that was a bad trade by you guys because all of a sudden you guys are down 2 corners, I believe, in the first game. You're done. You're done. You're going to be way far behind Buffalo by the time your team gets competent enough to win a game. Like you said, it's all front office. It's all front office. Might not be McDaniel, but McDaniel is going to be the one that suffers from this.
He's
At
going to
the end
be
of the day, he's going to be
scapegoated.
the one that gets fired.
Absolutely. And let's go talk about that trade again. So they traded away Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith, who also they have not had a tight end. I couldn't even tell you. I could not tell you when the last time they had an actual tight end to be another weapon, to be a weapon in the run blocking game. Nothing. Jonnu Smith was doing everything. He was almost a top 5 tight end. You trade him and Jalen Ramsey away, your only cornerback, and you bring in Minka Fitzpatrick. That's he's an ex-girlfriend now. And now you're going back? What's gonna happen? It's
Yeah.
the same shit. He's gonna be unhappy. The locker room is gone. They're done. They're done. He will be the first coach fired. And Chris, they need to start rebuilding. Get rid of the Reed contract if you can get rid of him somehow, because you got Otchain and Waddle there who are good players. You're gonna have to pay Waddle at some point. I don't know if he got paid yet. We'll look up that. We'll
Not
look
sure.
that up.
Not
But
sure. I can find that for you. Keep going. You're doing great.
it's this team, because obviously, Carlo, shout out to him, Miami fan. Um, Mark as well, if he listens. But I just don't see it. You can just see, they're soft. They're soft. They have no physicality, nothing.
Jalen Waddle signed a 3-year contract extension with the Miami Dolphins on May 30th, 2024, worth up to 85 million,
Okay, I thought
6
so.
million guaranteed.
Okay, I'm glad I held myself up because I thought he did get signed. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you make that type of trade. Who are their cornerbacks? Can you name one of their cornerbacks? I can't. I can't.
Minka.
I can't. Minka, safety. Like their cornerbacks are. It's just a shit
It,
show down there.
it
It's.
the
I
Miami
feel so
Dolphins,
bad.
the Miami Dolphins cornerback room is the same thing as the Kansas City Chiefs tight end room. They're all wide receiver ones in that tight end room. It's the
Mhm.
same thing for the Miami Dolphins. None of the corners are corner number one because they're going to get burnt, and the safeties are going to have to play corner. Linebackers are going to play corner. It's a mess over there. And McDaniel will be fired by week 8.
And it's funny because me saying and talking so much crap on the Dolphins, I know they're going to beat the Jets at least one week this year. It's going to happen. They're a lot of the majority of their wins. They're going to probably win one from New England. They're going to beat one of us, like probably the Jets. Bills, they give them problems at times. We'll see. But I'm just not in on them. I'm not in on them. I don't like where they're headed. I think McDaniel gets fired, and they got to really think about how the future is going to look.
Yeah, for sure. And I want to stay in New York here because we were just touching on the Jets. Um, Mike, I think it's got to be time to throw some darts here in New York. It has to be time. The How many years are we going to roll Russell Wilson and his wife and kids out on the red carpet and have him saying these dumbass taglines? New York Giants, let's ride. Subway station, let's ride. What are we doing, dude? The guy can barely put up 10 points anymore. Ever since he left Pete Carroll, he's been absolute dog trash. Like, why are we even trying with this guy? Let Dart go play. Dart looked great in the preseason. The whole city wants to see Dart. I'm pretty sure Dable wants to see Dart, and he's getting turned down by his own front office. The front office wants to lose this year. They don't want to win. As much as it sucks for Giants fans, the front office does not want to win. And it's another situation where I really hope that Dable does like gets a chance to come back next year with Jackson Dart, which I think he will. Um, but if you're not going to let him coach the team and play the quarterback that he wants, or at least what I think he wants, this team's never going to succeed. And they held Jackson Dart was requested for media after the game. They held him out, wouldn't let him talk to the media, which is very odd. Um, yeah, I don't know if they're protecting him or if they just want to make sure that Russell Wilson is the starting quarterback. It's a very weird situation going on in New York that Jackson Dart should be the starting quarterback of.
Yeah, and the thing is too, I actually agree with you because I'm one of the guys who believes that you any first round quarterback, second round, third round, we go so on and so forth. If they're not a top 5 pick, maybe top 10, depending on the player, if I like them or not. I believe that they should sit and they should learn. We talk about Shador, Gabriel, even Jackson Dart himself, Milrow, guys like that. Don't rush, let him sit, let him learn. My thing is, will it make a difference? Now, we just talked about, how Indy now has Danny Dimes. Danny Dimes looks great. I think if you put anyone in that offense, they're going to look like shit. Honestly,
But
can they
Mike,
block? Can they block?
no, but that's what I'm saying though. I think that it wouldn't make that big a difference. Like the record's still going to be pretty shocking, but it's going to make a difference in those games where they can win. Right?
Yeah.
Like Russell Wilson won't get them over the line because he won't be able to work that pocket when it breaks down the way it is. And I think Jackson Dart can work the pocket. He has a little bit of swagger, and it's not for nothing, but the guy's going to bring money in. If we're Let's at least make some money here while we have it, because Russell Wilson will not win you more than 6 games this year. Jackson
Yeah.
Dart, I think, gets you to 8 or 9.
Yeah, I agree.
And for
And
the
the thing
Giants,
is,
like how
mhm.
we don't need what this offense needs is not another top 3 pick. What they need can be got at anywhere from 8 to 17. You see the best teams do it all the time when they have an off year and they're in the teens, the early 20s, and they're getting the positions that the Giants need, which is crazy because the Giants, in theory, should have been able to pick these guys before all the good teams did. They've had
Mhm.
a top 3 pick for how long? It's super fucking embarrassing for them. It really is. Like the Miami Dolphins and the New York Giants, if you're a fan of them, you deserve compensation from the government. You really do. Those commercials where it's like if you mesothelioma or whatever it is, like you could get compensation. That's what it should be for Giants and Dolphins fans because you guys should be so much better than you are, and you just suck every year. You're so bad every year. And that's
Do
coming from
you
a Cowboys fan who like is in on a Super Bowl every year and has no chance of winning it.
do you know someone that has been diagnosed with mesothelioma? Please call this number.
Do you know someone that has been diagnosed with being a Giants
You,
or Dolphins fan? Please call this number.
yeah, the suicide hotline, bro. But
God.
that you know what? I agree with you in a way because yes, it's going to bring in money. He's going to give you a spark. Like when you look at the Giants, and listen, there are going to be some delirious fans out there, but at this point, what the hell do you have to lose? Like the only thing about starting Jackson Dart is risk of him getting hurt. Obviously, with the O line that they have, it's it's just what do you have to lose? You know, you want to put your best product out there on the field. Russ is done. It's over. In Denver, it was okay. He had some moments. In Pittsburgh, he had some moments. In New York, I just don't see him have it. I think it's over for Russ. I think retirement's on the way. He could be a QB2 on a good team. I think you just give the kid a shot at this point. Why not? I mean, if he gets injured, he gets injured. So be it. It's week. It's going to be week 2. He'll be healed up the next year. They stink. They stink. They stink.
And my thing is that, the Giants offense, how much is really going to change from this year to next year in terms of personnel? Like, honestly, how much is going to change? So if it's not going to change, why don't we just start building the chemistry? And maybe by the end of the year, you know how the Jets always get hot at the end of the year for no reason?
Yes.
Maybe the Giants get hot, but it's a different type of getting hot. This is one that you're actually proud to go into the next year because you're like, wow, we actually showed that we can be competent football players. Like, let's go let Jackson Dart in game learn how to play in the NFL on the fly and learn how to play with his wide receivers. Let's get some chemistry because him sitting on the sideline and then taking practice reps each week is not going to get him ready for you guys to contend next year. It's not.
Yeah.
Like sitting there and watching Russell Wilson, who doesn't even play remotely close to the style of this kid, makes no sense. It makes
I
no sense.
agree, man. I agree. And the thing is with that division, they have a 0.00001% chance of actually coming out and winning the division. Let's be real here. Playoff 3% chance of making it. Let's go 2%. You might as well just go into this year knowing that you have someone for your future and you want to see something. I mean, you don't want to wait that long where, now you have 2 years left and he has a good year. He gets hurt one year. He has a bad year. And now you have to decide if you want to pay him. Like you want to see what you have early, whether Dable is there or not, whether Joe Sheen is there or not. They picked this guy first round for a reason. They've seen something. I've seen something. Like he's a professional. He's gonna be good. It's
Like
just now you got to surround him.
every single football fan and their mother knows that Jackson Dart is a better football player and quarterback than Russell Wilson. Everybody does.
Oh, by
The
far.
whole organization knows it, or else they would have let him talk to the media. They would have let him play. They all know it, but they don't want to throw him out there because they just paid Russell Wilson.
Now I have a question
Can't do
too.
that to Russ. It would be the same as if Will Howard went out and played this week for the Steelers if the Steelers had lost. You
Mm-hmm.
can't do that to Aaron Rodgers. You can't do that to Russell Wilson.
Yeah, we had a conversation like that before too, where someone got paid. Was it Deshaun Watson that we were talking about? Yes, it was. Where
Yeah.
they gave him $1 gazillion, and they feel like they're entitled to start him just because of the money that they gave him. Dude, at the end of the day, what's the point of the playing in this league? It's to make money and to win football games. You got to put the best player out in the field. I would be shocked if Dart did start next, week 3, week 4. I could see them giving Jameis a shot, which could,
Nah, dude,
rejuvenate the offense a little bit, but
I was reading some
we'll
stuff
see.
last night, and like, I hate to say it, I love Jameis. That man is not playing unless Jackson Dart's body breaks in half. Because, dude, Jameis Winston has such a long shot of playing. It's crazy, actually, because if Russell Wilson gets benched, Jackson Dart is going to play. There's no way around it. With everything
They
that's
should.
coming out from Dayball, rumors out of the organization, I think by week, if it, so they're going to get smoked this week, and it's not going to be Russ's fault. Like it's just the fact that the Cowboys are probably going to score every drive down the field. Like they're fucked. But week 3 and 4, if Russ doesn't show something that he can get something out of this team, and he's not able to put up like 10 to 20 points a game, I there's no point in having him on the field. Or
I
this is
agree.
at that point, it's elderly abuse.
Yeah,
Let the man go home to his kids and let's play Jackson Dart and have Jameis as the backup.
And it sucks because you really you can't have hope with that team. It's kind of like the Jets in a way, but at least they had a good show. We'll get into that game too. But with the Giants, what was your hope? What was your realistic prediction of how many wins they were going to get this year? As a Giants fan, what was it, 5 to 6?
Yeah.
A real fan would say 5 to 6 wins. If they're saying 8 to 9, 10, they're delirious. They're delusional. There's no way in hell that they would win that many games. So
No,
listen, you got
definitely.
nothing to lose. Why not throw them out there? See what you have.
And I will say, because this will be a good segue to move into this next topic, I do think, based on the first two games from Washington, if the Giants start Jackson Dart, they come in third place. I think Washington, I think I was 100% right. I think this team is dog shit. I think the defense is terrible. I think the O line is even worse. I think Jaden Daniels is screwed beyond belief playing for this Dan Quinn led team. I think they are screwed. They're going to come in last place possibly if Jackson Dart becomes the starting quarterback.
It's off
So
on a
I want to
slump.
get into that. Not only that game last night that we watched between Green Bay and just the shellacking they gave Washington from the opening snap till the end of the game, but also I want to get into Dan Quinn or not Dan Quinn, Dan Campbell. So Dan and Dan show right here. I think both are in trouble right now. I think they both know it. I think Dan Campbell is in a world of hurt without his coordinators. I think week one showed it against Green Bay. And like, listen, we know Green Bay, that defense is elite now. They're unreal. That team is built from top to bottom very well. The Lions' inability to move the ball down the field was concerning to me. For that offense to not be able to move the ball anywhere down the field. Anytime they couldn't run the ball, they couldn't throw the ball. Just a very bad. That was the worst offensive game from the Detroit Lions in probably 2 years.
And
And
the thing
I'm
is,
nervous for them. I'm really nervous. And then you saw it again last night with Washington, which makes me think that Detroit might be okay and it might just be a Green Bay thing, but not good. Not good
yeah,
from either offense.
I think it's a Green Bay thing, man. I think a signing that you bring like a guy like Micah Parsons in. You have Rashawn Gary, who people really don't know about besides Green Bay. He's also had an excellent career with Green Bay. You get rid of Jair Alexander. They played hard. If you want to talk about the Giants or the Detroit and the Packers game, I mean they got punched in the mouth and they did not respond.
Hmm.
Am I pulling the panic button on Detroit? No, not at all. It's that team is still way too good on paper to they to just roll over and die. Like I still think that with the offense that they have, they're trying to figure out a lot of things. Obviously you lose both your coordinators. They're figuring out, their identity, kind of how to utilize the offense. Jahmyr Gibbs, Montgomery. It'll take them a couple of weeks. Like I think they come back this week, and I think they beat the shit out of the Bears. I really do, and I really like the Bears, but I think they come out strong. I think Dan Campbell as the head coach will not let that ever happen back to back weeks. I just don't see it happening. It's going to be a much closer game. Um, you just got to get them involved. And listen, you lost Frank Ragnow. You're losing a couple of pieces. It's going to be different. You're not. It's not going to be the same exact season as it was before. But you got to give credit to Green Bay, man. I mean, they look good. Jordan Love looked good. If they could just have some healthy receivers, they're moving up my rankings. They're moving up my board. But I know you wanted to talk about bounce back teams for the NFC and Dan mentioning Dan Campbell. I think the Lions are one of them. They play a division rival in the Bears. The Bears are still trying to figure it out a little bit. New system for Caleb. I still don't think they're a bad team, but I think the way Dan Campbell, it's going to be interesting because obviously Ben Johnson coming from Detroit, he'll be able to see a lot of things. He knows a lot of players on that defense. He knows their offensive scheme, so he'll be collaborating with the DC. I think Aiden Hutchinson is going to have a really good game. If they're going to try to run the ball weak side, they're going to stay away from him as much as possible. But I don't know. I think Goff comes back strong. I think Amon-Ra comes back strong. I think Gibbs comes back strong. So I think they have a bounce back. And then I have two other teams to bounce back from the NFC. I
Sure.
have Seattle and Atlanta. I'll start with Seattle. I don't know if you watched the game. I know we were together at the point. We were kind of just chit-chatting and learning plays from BSG and base defenses. But
That
I
was
thought
incredible.
that was fun. I thought Sam played well. The numbers aren't really going to show it, but he was accurate. He was smart in the pocket. He ran when he had to. JSN man, he's going to break out again this year. He's excellent, and they're also another team that are trying to find their identity. They ran the ball a bunch, probably about more than 50% of their snaps were run plays. Kenneth Walker was injured. Zach Charbonnet comes in, amazing, amazing running back number 2. But their defense shut down. I mean, I actually thought they had the game. If Tariq Woolen can actually guard somebody and maybe make a catch or a deflection, they had that game. I thought their offense looked smooth, but they still have some things to figure out. I see them making a nice little comeback against the Steelers. Darnold looked great. I love how Darnold looked. And then Atlanta. One more, I'll give it to you. Atlanta.
Mike,
What do you got? Go ahead. Say something.
Seattle fans are all over Milrow.
Because they're
They watched
delirious.
one game of Sam Darnold and they said, we need Milrow. We need Jalen Milrow. We need the Alabama product at quarterback. Just saying. He's going to
They
be the
had the
quarterback in a
game.
year or two. He's going to be the quarterback in a year or two, 100%.
I mean, yeah, I could see that happening, but I mean, if you actually watch the game, Darnold was fine. Darnold made the throws. He made the throws he had
He
to
did.
make.
He did. He can manage a game perfectly, but
And
he's never
it's
going to win you a Super Bowl.
yeah, and that's fine. And
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing is too, like the Niners defense ain't no slouch. Like that's a damn good defense you're going against. And they were driving down the field, 12 seconds left. Nick Bosa, he didn't really strip sack him, but Darnold goes to throw, hits his own lineman, getting bull rushed, fumble, game was over. They had a chance to win the game, and they just came up short. So I'm not going to knock off Seattle after that game. I thought Brock looked good too. I thought Pearsall looked good. I thought McCaffrey played solid. Obviously, they got some injuries coming up, but they bounced back against the Steelers. I think Darnold's going to have a good game. And now Atlanta. Atlanta's an interesting one because they also played well. That was a really close game. The Bucs came out strong with that one. They know their identity. They know that they got to feed Bijan. They got to give him the ball as much as possible. I'm not sure what's up with Drake London. I don't know if he's playing or not. But Michael Penix looked great. I think he looked comfortable. He looked fiery. He had some swagger to him. I think the chemistry is building. Kyle Pitts was catching footballs, which was amazing to see. That defense is going to, they're going to solidify. They're going to find their groove. That's a team to watch out for. I feel like you and I are waiting for this Atlanta team to show us what they're capable of doing. We said it last year, watch out for this team. Jesse Bates, incoming, had a great year with them. We haven't seen it, though. We're waiting and waiting to see how they can actually, form wins. But they play the Vikings this week. The Vikings just had a very, very, very good game. J.J. McCarthy, shout out to him.
Looked
A
great.
very good game. Yes, he did. He looked amazing against Chicago. So I see them, putting a lot of pressure on McCarthy, sending a lot more blitzes. They're going to probably leave JJ one-on-one at times, bring the safety over for help. But I think they can do it. I think they could win that game if Michael Penix can play smart. Flores will be cooking up some schemes to kind of get it. There's going to be a lot of blitzing in that game, in my opinion. But I see them with a bounce back too. And I had Carolina, but that week 1 game was very, 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 very ugly.
Like, I'm going to say this.
I'm starting Bryce Young in fantasy this week, so
I think the experiment has like 2 more weeks. I really do. I love Bryce Young, but I don't know. I can't wrap my head around the freaking kid. Every time he pulls me in, he drops an absolute goose egg. And I know that he's on a bad team. Bryce Young is a really good player on a very bad team, but like, dude, it was the Jags. It wasn't the Chiefs, it wasn't the Eagles, it wasn't Green Bay. It was Jacksonville Jaguars, and we couldn't do shit. That's like
yeah,
Alabama playing Vanderbilt, and we couldn't move the ball down the field. It's like Bryce Young, just get it through your fucking skull, your tiny skull, and figure out how to get your Devonta Smith body to get the ball into the end zone. Like how I can't do this anymore. I can't. I can't keep supporting him. He's still my pinned tweet for 1 more week.
yeah. I mean,
I can't do this anymore.
I thought the play calling was garbage for them. I thought Canales did so bad with the play calling. They ran like 11 screens. Can we eliminate that play from the fucking league?
Can we?
Please.
Bryce Young never threw a fucking screen the entire time he was at Alabama. Can we let the kid whip it down the field?
Let
He
him
threw
throw the
bombs
ball.
down the field. Let him throw the ball. Let him get guys killed across the middle. Let's play football. Let's play football.
Oh,
We played scared football against the Jags. The Panthers need to wake up and let this kid play. You have weapons that can get in behind. You drafted weapons. You have Tet now. Let's throw the ball to the guy down the field. Why are we playing like Tet can't catch a ball? Why are we
yeah.
playing like this guy's not supposed to be the next CD Lamb? What are we doing out here? What
their
are we doing?
offense was so predictable where they looked like the Jets with Gase. They would run on first and second down, third and long, incompletion, 3 and out. Like I mean, give credit to Jacksonville because they stopped the shit out of the run. Chuba didn't really do much, but you let Thielen go. Was that the smart decision? You brought in Renfro. He's going to have his games here and there, but you could have really used that veteran leadership. You got a slot guy with ulcerative colitis trying to tell you guys how to play football. Dude's gonna shit his pants. Like, I just did not like the play calling at all. It just didn't make sense. They weren't aggressive, and they got stopped by Jacksonville. And Jacksonville deserved to win that game. And shout out to Jacksonville because Travis Etienne is back.
Back.
He's so back.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And they
So
got rid of Tank Bigsby. He's on the Eagles currently fumbling punts and stuff, trying his hardest not to be a punt returner. Saw
yeah.
that this morning. That was fucking hilarious.
So
Uh,
we'll see. We'll see with Carolina. I do expect a bounce, a slight bounce. I think Bryce is going to play better. I don't know if they're going to win the game. They do play the Cardinals. You know how I feel about them. Oh, don't get me started with that game. But I think they can. I don't believe in the Cardinals at all. Their defense is shaky. Will Johnson's a good player, but I think Bryce is going to be dinking and dunking, and he's going to get a lot more fantasy points. I don't know if they'll win, but he's going to look a lot better.
all right, let's move on to something that's a little more positive. It was a positive L, positive L. We had two positive L's on this podcast this week. We had the Cowboys opening it up with a positive L. Really liked what I saw. But I want to get into the state of the Jets, Mike. Give us a state of the Jets because this might be the most positive state of the Jets that we've had in the history of this show.
I mean, we had it. We had the game. Let me rant. I'm gonna go off real quick, and I'm gonna just take it step by. I'm gonna start at the top. I'm gonna start at the top, and I'm gonna work my way down to the positions that no one gives a shit about.
All
So
right, talk
no,
to the
no.
people. I'm gonna get a snack. I'm
Okay,
gonna
go
get a
ahead.
snack.
So number one, Aaron Glenn, he's got this team dialed in. Aaron Glenn has his team dialed in right now. The way he's been coaching, the way he approached practices, OTAs, training camp, I loved what I've seen, what I saw from them. Obviously, the defense needs a little bit of work with the play action. Aaron Rodgers was throwing a wide open guys off of fucking rollouts. All right, let's be real here. It kills me that he won against the Jets in MetLife, but I thought how he prepared the New York Jets to come in to a game against the Steelers where there is some drama with Rodgers and Justin Fields. I thought he was great. The one thing that I was a little shaky on was those 2-point conversions where he's been wasting timeouts. I think it was the third quarter. He had one timeout left. That's a big head coach mistake. Did you hear that?
What about the timeout?
Okay, you did. Okay, great. So now let's move down. So we'll go from Aaron Glenn. Let's go to the defense real quick. Play action, they just looked a little bit lost on play action. I thought the D line put the fucking Steelers O line in hell. I thought Will McDonald, again, I don't want to talk about the past, but Joe Douglas drafted a lot of these guys that are currently on the team, kind of like I'm not even gonna say that, but he looked great. I thought Quincy looked good. I thought the penalties, there was not many penalties, so the discipline has gotten much better for this defensive team. Sauce had DK on locks, of course, again. Of course, when DK was, or some Sauce was not on DK, he was, catching balls and running down the sideline, but we'll save that for another week. Now let's go to the offense. Justin Fields looked fucking phenomenal. He looked fantastic. And I don't know if you noticed, I knew this at all. He wore two gloves. Muller, he wore two gloves.
My
Justin
I
Fields
almost
wore
texted
two.
you. I
He
almost
wore
texted you. I
two
was like, this might
gloves.
be done before it starts.
He wore two gloves, but he looked incredible. And the biggest thing coming out of training camp and OTAs was, can he pass the ball? Like, is this like he looked shaky in the pass game? I'm still concerned. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. When you only have Garrett Wilson, and that's kind of it. You got to find other people to throw to. I think Jeremy Ruckert had a nice bounce back game from all the shit that was going through the offseason in the summer. Shaky, is he going to get cut? I thought he really made a statement. I thought Mason Taylor with his one catch was really nice to see. But I think the MVP of the whole offense was the offensive line. They were incredible. They were incredible. With that defensive line, Armand Membu for his first year, no sacks, no hurries, nothing. TJ Watt got around him on some run plays, but that's TJ Watt. It was expected, but he was phenomenal. Joe Tippmann, again, AVT is out. He's done for the year. Joe Tippmann, a right guard, he was phenomenal. Josh Myers was great. John Simpson was great besides one penalty backing up Justin Fields when Jalen Ramsey was talking shit. And Olin Fashanu was amazing in the pass play. They looked amazing. We haven't seen the O-line play like that in a long time, probably since the 09 seasons with fucking Mangold and Brickshaw Ferguson. Breece Hall slept on again. People underestimating him, was phenomenal. Was probably getting almost 5 to 6 yards a carry. Not expected. This game was not expected. There were so many positives to take out of this game. We had it. We could have won. All it was one fumble. One fumble that changed the course of this game. We were leading, fumble, touchdown scored, boom, Steelers are up. But guess what? They punched back and they went down and scored. The Jets don't do that. They roll over and they die. They die. It's over. But they came back and it was one of the best 1:00 games, if not the best game of the week besides the Bills and the Ravens. It was a fantastic showing. And you know what? I'm believing. I really am. If we can see that every single week, I'm happy. But guess what? We're not. Justin Fields is going to have his days where he's not going to look good against, very good teams. We play the Bills next week. We'll see how they look. But Tanner Angstrad, the OC, called a great game. I love his play calling. I love the way his blocking schemes looked. It was a real positive. I wish we would have won the game because that would have been a hell of a start to week one. But give credit to Pittsburgh. I guess. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, he made the throws. And that's the thing that Pittsburgh. It's the little things like special teams. Chris Boswell, one of the best kickers in the league. He made a 60-yard field goal to pretty much take the lead. I don't know if it was tied or not. I forget, but I'm pretty sure it was to take the lead. It was 2019 or some shit. I forget. I don't know, but they make it happen. Fumble on special teams. They make it happen. They do. The Steelers have been so good because they do everything right in every aspect of a positional group, whether it be offense, defense, or special teams. They do it right, and that's how you win football games. If the Jets can copy that and not fumble on special teams and be a little bit better on defense and show what they just showed on offense. Listen, they're going to be a run-heavy team. They're going to run the ball. Breece is going to get a lot of action. Braylon Allen's going to get a lot of action. He had a touchdown. I bet it. I was very happy about that. So, you know what? I'll take it as a positive. I really wanted to win, but I really like where we're headed. I really do. And if Justin Fields can keep doing this, I mean, man, it was nice to see RPOs be
Mike,
put in effect.
say it. What were you about to say? If Justin Fields can keep doing this, what were you about to say?
I mean, if he can keep doing this, I mean, we're looking at a guy who could start and who could be the quarterback for some years. That's what I've been saying.
That wasn't as exciting as I thought it was going to be.
But the thing is, you can't get excited as a Jets fan. That's the problem. Like, if we won the game, maybe I'd be a little bit different. But it's week one. It's early. There's still a lot of games to be played. The Bills. We've beaten the Bills before at MetLife. We could do it again. So, and you know what? A lot of the other fans out in the world also saw this Jets game like, oh shit, like they played well. Like they didn't look like the same old Jets. So yeah.
I'm happy. I got. I really am happy for you. So before we get out of here, Mortal Locks released them yesterday. Broncos -1.5 is mine. Mike took Seahawks +3, and Lucci took Cowboys -4.5. Over unders, I am on Atlanta and Minnesota over 44.5. I have a feeling it's just going to be an absolute shootout. I really like it being a shootout there. Two indoor teams playing inside. And then you took the Jets and Buffalo under 46.5. I actually love that. I love that. I think it's the Jets scored and gave up a little too many points for my liking last week. And there's no way that gets recreated. So I like that a lot. And Luca took Chicago, Detroit over 46.5. I think he's banking on the Lions just coming back with a vengeance and literally putting a 50 burger on their head.
Yep.
One thing that we did have to clear up is the parlay. So I'm on the Bengals money line. Lucci took Buccaneers money line at plus money. What are you taking?
Did I not text you who I was taking?
Might
Now I'm
have.
gonna
You
look.
might have. I don't know.
Let me see because now I actually forget. What I say? Chargers. I got the Chargers on the money line here.
Chargers. All right, let me see what that puts us at here. All right, so Chargers puts us at plus 434. Throw a little 25 on that to win an extra $100 for your week. All right, yeah. I mean, it's going to be a good week of football. We have a lot of good games. So there's a few more undefeated matchups coming our way before the end of this week. Last night was one, ended up sucking immaculately. Um, but I like the matchups this week. We have a good matchup in the Cowboys Giants. We got Lions Bears. I think a sneaky good matchup is going to be the Bengals Jaguars. I just think both teams came out in week one, looked really good. I'm interested to watch how the Jets do against the Bills. We got the Seahawks playing the Steelers. Will it be a bounce back for the Seahawks? Will it be a letdown game for the Steelers? Aaron Rodgers has been talking a lot of trash. Um, yeah, then we have the Super Bowl rematch, and then Monday night we have a dual Monday night, which is the fucking worst. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, so two things real quick. So with the dual Monday night, that Bucks Houston game, that's one to key on. Like I think that's going to be an awesome game to watch, especially how the Houston Texans looked the first week and how the Bucks did. That's one of them. And then oh my God, what did you just said something and I forget what it was. Oh yeah, remember I said this. The last 3 years, Seattle has covered on week two. They are 3-0 in the last 3 years. I'm taking Seattle just to follow the metrics. I don't 2.5. There was plus 2.5 at one point. I waited, got it to three. Boom, took it.
I like that.
I expect them to cover. I hope they do. I'm just going to keep following the numbers. You don't see that on your social medias, but when you run a podcast, sometimes you catch a couple of things, and Seattle was one of them. I'm taking them, and let's get 2 wins in a row. You know, we
Mhm.
got one. Let's get two, and let's keep this train rolling.
Everyone got a win last week, which was awesome. We haven't done that in a while. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, good show. Do you have anything else to talk about?
No,
Good.
yeah, good show, man. Man, it's good to be back. It was so fun to watch football on Sunday and just, have the fantasy lineups out, have the bets out.
Mhm.
Obviously, I won at least one bet and it was Indy. So that was a great, you know, great start to the year. And it's funny because a lot of people think that week one's the hardest to choose. I find it very easy. Like I had 10 wins on my spread pool. I always find it easy because you just got to take the guys who you don't expect to win. Like everyone's high on Miami. Okay, let me take Indy with Danny Dimes. Who the hell was doing that? So now it's going to get a little bit tougher. We see where teams are. We see kind of how they look. It's going to be tougher from here on out, but I expect wins from all of us.
Definitely. Well, all right, Mike, good show. Good talking.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Always.
Everyone remember to like, follow, and subscribe. We are donating with Nika Miola for charity this year. Keep subscribing. Keep subscribing. If you want to subscribe and you're thinking about it, just click the button. You never know. You might like it. All right, but seriously, subscribe. Mike, good stuff today. Uh, See ya.
All right. Bye, guys.